Hello everyone, I am Inside Disney here, about to answer some of the questions that have been asked by you guys. Now before I begin, I hope all of you had a Merry Christmas, and I would like to give a shout out to all users who have sent me questions on my Instagram on this post I have shared in the comments. Please note that you also needed to add the hashtag Inside Disney for your questions to be answered as well. So if you ask the question without the hashtag, your question will unfortunately be left unanswered. Now, like I stated in the description of this post, names will not be featured in this video, but you know who you are, so shout out to you. I would also like to note that this video is not being sponsored by any brand or company in any form. Now without further ado, let's begin with this Q&A. So here's the first question. Hashtag Inside Disney. Would you ever consider visiting nearby Knott's Berry Farm, which also has great rides and stuff too? So to start off, I have indeed visited that park twice. The first time was back in December of 2013, and the second time was somewhat recent, as I have also visited the park in May this year. And to answer the question, would I like to visit Knott's Berry Farm again? Yes I would. I say this because Knott's Berry Farm features the Peanuts gang, which I myself am a fan of, and have been since I was only 7 years old. Not only that, but in all honesty, I would actually like to take the time to ride the attractions Knott's Berry Farm has to offer, as in my previous 2 visits, I have only ridden attractions here and there and walked around for the most part. Although, some of my favorite attractions from Knott's Berry Farm would be Bigfoot Rapids, Coast Rider, Jaguar, and Sierra Sidewinder. Having said that, let's proceed on to the next question. A Q&A, huh? Well, I want to be in it. Hashtag Inside Disney. My question is, how long does it take for you to make a video and or live stream? Now, there is a variety of answers to this question, as obviously, every video takes different amounts of times to create. So let me leave my answers like this. If the video I record is perfect and doesn't need editing, I will only take about or less than 5 minutes to create that video. If a video needs some editing here and there, I will probably take an hour or more. Now here's what takes me the longest to finish. News reports. News reports take extremely long to make. I say this because I first need to record myself speaking, then add the photos I need, add background music, and enhance everything. That way, I can result into a useful, understandable news report. This takes me more than a day to make. These news reports honestly shouldn't take me over a day to make, but this is the case as the program I use literally makes it more harder than it should be to create videos. But after all that hard work, I am pretty satisfied with my work, and I am also glad that you guys enjoy the content I create. Another question here is, hashtag Inside Disney 2018. What was your #1 favorite Disney visit of the year? So before I begin to answer this question, I would like to note that this question does have the wrong hashtag, but since this user considered placing a hashtag and had the only hashtag with the wrong comment, this user's question will be answered. So congrats to this user. So aside from that, my favorite trips at the Disneyland Resort this year had to be either when I visited Disneyland when the Main Street Electrical Parade returned to Disneyland Park, or when the final performance of the Main Street Electrical Parade was held. Hopefully I have a final decision by the time I finish making my 2017 highlights at the Disneyland Resort video. Now I would say that one of my favorite trips at the Disneyland Resort would be when I went to the parks when the Main Street Electrical Parade first returned back on January 20th this year, as I haven't seen the Main Street Electrical Parade in years. The last time I saw this parade before this time was back when the parade was at Disney California Adventure, so it was nice to see an electrifying piece of my childhood again for the first time in years. Now secondly, I would say another favorite trip of mine to the parks was when I went to Disneyland for the final performance of the Main Street Electrical Parade. For the reason that it was when everyone was at Disneyland saying their final farewells to the parade, and there was a huge crowd by It's a Small World cheering when the parade's final performance ended. This crowd was definitely a crowd you have wanted to be with if you were a fan of the Main Street Electrical Parade. This day was also the day I met some popular individuals I myself am a fan of, being Jeff, the man who has visited the Disneyland Resort for over 2,000 days in a row, some members from Life Disney, and LMG Vids himself. This was definitely an unforgettable day at the Disneyland Resort for me. Next, here's another asked question. Have you watched Coco, and what is your favorite character in Coco? Hashtag Inside Disney. In all honesty, I have never seen Disney Pixar's Coco animated film, and therefore, I cannot leave any honest opinions in regards to the film itself. But just by observing the trailers and reviews of this film, I can tell that this is an animated film that you definitely do not want to miss out on. But this is just my opinion, however. Hashtag Inside Disney. What is a property that you think should be given a land at the Disney parks? I'm not so sure what you're asking in this case, but if you are asking which Disney movie that does currently not have its own dedicated land at any Disney park that deserves to have its own dedicated land, then here's my answer. A Zootopia themed land, in my opinion, would certainly be pretty neat in my opinion. Maybe actual popsicles can be sold in the land, and maybe a whole thrill type of attraction can be constructed, and the storyline of this attraction could be that you are needed by Judy and Nick Wilde to put an end of the savage actions performed by the savage predators. This is only my opinion, however. Now, here's the final qualified question that has been asked. Hashtag Inside Disney. Why did you make a channel about Disneyland? I myself decided to make a channel dedicated to Disneyland because when I was first 5 years old, I began to watch videos here on YouTube that have been recorded at the Disneyland Resort. This has made me more interested in videography and photography at the time, especially when it came to recording and taking photos at the Disneyland Resort. When I was 10 years old, I received my first phone ever, and at the time, my interests in videography and photography have significantly increased. And when I first went to Disneyland with my phone, that's all when my photography and videography at Disneyland first began. This was all when I began to film ride POVs, parades, fireworks, and Disneyland Railroad rail fanning videos, which was what I filmed more back then. During this time as well, I found these YouTube channels that have completely inspired me to actually create a YouTube channel dedicated to Disneyland. These YouTube channels were Fresh Baked Disney, LMG Vids, and SoCal Theme Parks 360. Back then, these were the YouTube channels that I have always been viewing, gaining my inspiration to create a Disney-themed YouTube channel. Next thing you know, here comes September 24th, 2016. My YouTube channel is officially created. If you have sticked around since that time, then thank you so much for viewing my content since this wild adventure has all began. Now, with having a final question answered, this now concludes this Q&A video. Thank you to everyone that has submitted their questions on my Instagram page, which can be found at Inside Disney Official or in the link below. If your question wasn't answered, this must have been because you did not put hashtag Inside Disney along with your question, so I am sorry to hear about that. Now if you enjoyed this Q&A video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for the latest news at the Disneyland Resort or any other Disneyland content. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out my Instagram for photos taken at the Disneyland Resort, as well as sneak peeks for future uploads. Now, I will be sure to see you all in the next upcoming video. Take care of yourselves and enjoy 2017 while it lasts.